and we are back with a brand new episode of Valholla Now Radio. We're going to be talking about the Grammy Awards. We're going to be talking about Nick Cannon's new show on Zeus and how MTV sued that show for copying Wild 'N Out. We're also going to be talking about an update on TikTok and how TikTok's parent company recently launched a licensing company in the US as far as for music. Also, we're going to be talking about streaming 2.0. Super fans are going to be able to shine with this new streaming tier from Spotify that's coming out soon. It's super secretive. There's a little bit of information on it. We're going to tackle it. We're going to touch on it. We're also going to talk about how someone who was convicted of streaming fraud got more time added to their actual docket. And we're going to touch on what I'm watching right now. We're going to be talking about two shows today. Let's get into it. So there's something coming from Spotify that people in the industry are calling streaming 2.0. It's pretty much going to be like a super fan streaming platform that's going to be within Spotify. It's going to add an extra tier for super fans. So we don't know exactly more about it, but here's what we know so far. So it was reported this week that Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, is playing around with an unreleased secretive superfan product that should actually be a win, they say, for the platforms, rights holders, and subscribers. Pretty much this was from a call that he recently had with investors. So on a previous episode, I talked about UMG's new deal with Spotify, and recently it was reported that Warner also signed a new deal with Spotify, which is this update to this licensing deal is connected directly to this superfan product. So basically it's going to be a new tier or new part of the platform that's going to allow people who are super fans of artists to pay more for this particular tier. I'm not 100% sure exactly how the details will work yet. Like, it's not really information that's out there. It's super secretive. So I don't think there isn't anyone that's talking about how the actual platform is going to work with this new tier. But as far as, if you can imagine, the element is going to be added to it where you're going to probably be able to listen to new music first before anyone else. You might be able to get pre-tickets, as far as pre-sale tickets to shows. You may be able to actually do certain things that the average consumer or the music listener wouldn't be able to do. So this is something to definitely keep your eyes out on. Now, as far as what I think this edition could do, I think it definitely could help not only artists, labels, and managers, but it would also help consumers connect with fans and connect with artists in a different way. So what I would like to see within this new tier would be a way for artists to communicate directly to their fans. I don't think that Spotify is going to have a section that will allow artists or labels to communicate directly with users or fans or super fans. But if that was the case, it would totally be a game changer. I think people would, even if they're subscribed to other music platforms or music streaming platforms, they would also sign up with Spotify, because a lot of people have Spotify accounts already, and they also have Apple Music. Well, they might not actually be paying. They might have a free tier for Spotify, but there may be actual error where people are paying both for two platforms. They might switch it over to completely to Spotify to pay for these extra artist tiers. So if there's a super fan, they'll have the opportunity to potentially communicate directly with an artist, or get tickets first, hear music first, things of that nature. So we are entering a new era for music streaming. So this era is, I think, going to bring a lot more money for labels and artists. It's also going to bring in a lot more opportunities for fans to communicate with artists and to have a deeper connection with artists. So I'm hoping that Spotify in this new tier does just that. So we'll keep you posted. As much as we hear, we'll share it. But that's really where we are. Like, we know that it's coming. It's probably going to be here soon. Another thing I think we have to kind of think about is the fact that this tier may only be available to certain artists. They may roll it out to major label artists or a select few major label artists, and then eventually allow independent artists to kind of participate in this type of tier. But I would love to see something kind of a day one type of situation where, you know, most artists get to have access to this for fans. But like I said, we'll see. It's a good chance it's going to roll out to a certain number of artists first and then kind of move on from there. Tell me what you want to see. What would you want to see with this Spotify platform? Tell me and let me know as far as in the comments. I've been keeping you updated with TikTok, and recently there's an update on the ownership of TikTok. So recently I mentioned that there was no way that Elon Musk would either be offered or own or have an opportunity to own TikTok. And he actually came out and said that he had no interest in TikTok. I think there was never a chance for him to actually own it. Especially, he mentioned specifically like having access to the algorithm. So he mentioned that the only way he would probably be interested is if he had access to the algorithm. He knows that it wouldn't have happened. So I don't think he has any interest in it. So with that being said, he obviously is not in a running. There was a report that the US government is setting up a sovereign fund to own a percentage of it. I'm not 100% sure how that is going to work. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. So we'll see how that works. But another interesting thing that recently happened, this literally was recently reported. TikTok's parent company quietly launched a music licensing platform called Easyode. Music Business Worldwide recently reported how TikTok's ByteDance recently released or launched a music licensing platform. So this music licensing platform is going to allow companies and things of that nature to use music in their short form content, in their commercials, things of that nature. There's a big business in it, and ByteDance wants in. So it's funny to see ByteDance really double down on investing in companies to exploit music. And I'm saying exploit in a business-y way, not in a bad way. So, and when I say exploit copyrights, that's just kind of the term. And it might sound weird to some people, but you know, it's just, that's really what it is. Like whenever someone like an artist is exploiting their music for consumption, they're exploiting it because they are expecting to see some kind of return to having it in the marketplace. So it's just, I feel like that term could be looked at in a negative way, but this is kind of really just the nature of the business. This is what Music Business Worldwide said. Pretty much starts the actual article talking about how Epidemic Sound was valued at $1.4 billion with a $450 million funding round in 2021, in which Blackstone Growth and EQT Growth acquired stakes in the company. Epidemic is now reportedly eyeing an IPO. So Epidemic Sound is a music licensing platform. They license music. A lot of the music on there isn't released to, you know, and so forth, and like as far as commercially, but they found a way to also release a lot of their music in their library on streaming services. So they have a lot of their library on streaming services, and people actually stream it, and they end up, you know, making money. So you got to look into Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is a pretty big company, and meanwhile over in China, TikTok's parent company ByteDance, which is valued at $300 billion as of November 2024, appears to have a service in the works that could shake up the global music licensing market. ByteDance owns a service called Easyode, described as a one-stop rights clearing music platform. The existence of EZO's platform will likely be news to much of the global music industry, end quote. Pretty much, they also provide some information about what they know about EZO. It says there's very little information online about when it launched, and ByteDance has not responded to Music Business Worldwide's request for information about its ambitions for the platform or how the music is sourced. According to the U.S. Copyright Office filings unearthed by Music Business Worldwide, ByteDance, via its mysterious Cayman Islands-based affiliate Lemon Inc., has filed for 2 related trademarks for the wordmark and logo. As you can see, the trademarks is officially registered and is still pending, and one is still pending. The trademarks have been registered over various categories, including music licensing services, mainly commercial administration of licensing of music, and others. According to EZO's website, the service offers high-quality tracks and sound effects for use in new and traditional media projects, as well as other music-related services. The platform claims to feature 60,000 rights-cleared tracks in its library. The website also explains that EZO provides a music customization service with multiple style and duration options. The platform lets you upload the video you want to license the music for, and it will then recommend the music for us from its library that it deems will work well for its visual content. That's pretty crazy. Wow. So EZO, it goes on to say EZO also lets you upload reference tracks to analyze the beats and structure of the music. According to EZO, if you find the demos meet your requirements, you can leave your contact information for customization service page, and if not, please help provide 5 sample tracks per style for us to analyze and customize the style for you. EZO's terms of service stipulates that the user must acknowledge and agree that the user content that you post and upload will be using EZO's services created by or legally licensed to you. The platform also includes that the following disclaimer: we respect intellectual property rights and ask for you to do the same. So this is pretty crazy. If ByteDance is able to kind of tap into something that is easy for people to kind of license music, it's gonna definitely be a game changer. And it's a lot of money is in it, as you can see. So ByteDance also seems to be doing a lot in AI as well, in connection with this. It's pretty crazy. It's definitely something that you should definitely watch out for. This is one of those things where, you know, we won't know everything until it's kind of really out there. Like, they obviously have the website is up and running. It's just, there was never a point of the date that it launched. So I'm not sure if you've seen this, but MTV recently sued for a show that Nick Cannon hosts on Zeus. And they say that it's a copy, a blatant copy, as they say, of Wild 'N Out. The new show, it's basically like a rap battle show, but from the clips that I've seen, it looks like there's fighting and a bunch of other stuff. So I don't know, you know, if how much of the same it is. It's definitely like a versus type of situation. I wonder what kind of legal standing they have. The show is called Bad versus Wild. So it's they're basically MTV's owner, Viacom. They filed a lawsuit to Zeus. Obviously, they didn't sue Nick Cannon because I think there's a negotiation happening, or they're probably going to be renewing his deal with MTV. But based off of what the lawsuit says, there's a possibility that he may not do it, because they are claiming that Zeus actually has been poaching Nick Cannon to do a deal with Zeus for a while now. So that's what they're claiming on that. And so I haven't seen the show. If you've seen the show, make sure you let me know in the comments what you think, and if you think it's a copy. So the case, it seems, was filed as I'm recording today, which was Monday, the 10th. It says the 7th, but I guess it was made public today or something like that, against the streaming service Zeus Network. And the cable giant claimed that the new show goes far beyond imitation. and intends to steal each and every element of Wild 'N Out, the popular hip hop comedy show that's aired for more than 20 seasons on MTV and VH1. So the also lawsuit itself doesn't name Nick Cannon as a defendant, but instead accuses Zeus of intentionally poaching him. It says the new show is cosplaying as a Wild 'N Out successor, profiting off of Viacom's years long investment without having to do the work of creating original content itself. It also goes on to say, in an era where original content is at a premium, Zeus has chosen the path of least resistance, stealing the fruits of Viacom's goodwill and decades of labor and innovation, and pawning it off as its own original idea for its own financial gain, Viacom's lawyers wrote. Worse yet, the lawsuit says the episodes of Bad and Wild, which debuted in March, have repeatedly featured offensive and inappropriate content that glorifies violence, objectifies women, and perpetrates insidious stereotypes, threatening to tarnish the legacy of Wild 'N Out. The potential damage to Viacom and Wild 'N Out can't be overstated, the company's lawyers continued. This blatant copying and association with offensive content threatened to erode 2 decades of Viacom's carefully built reputation and goodwill, and it is an attack on not just Viacom's intellectual property, but on its very brand identity. The lawsuit accuses Zeus of infringing both of Viacom's copyrights to the show and also its trademark, saying that the consumers have been duped into thinking the two shows are somewhat connected. The filing cites a press release that explicitly references the show Wild 'N Out on steroids. Wild 'N Out, which debuted on MTV in 2005, featured teams of comedy hip hop stars battling in a series of competitions, capped off by a freestyle battle and then a music performance. Over the year, the show has run 21 seasons and has boasted a bunch of different guests. They even say the logo is copied. So again, I haven't seen the show. I've seen clips of it, but what do you think? Do you think there's a copying going on and so forth? So let me know what you think in the comments. We have our special guest with us today, Vida. And just to kind of, before she intros herself, I want to kind of share how I kind of got familiar with her content, and I wanted her on the show because I been following her on Twitter. I think we started following each other on Twitter for like, I think it was probably maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe. Not 100% sure, but and I have to ask because like you follow a lot of people that I follow from Miami, so that's kind of how I got familiar with you and so forth. And then I started following her on TikTok. So TikTok, now before I even get into TikTok, but Twitter, like she's hilarious on Twitter. But on TikTok, that's where she really has like a lot of content where she talks about, her job and, what I'm saying, her career, I should say. And also, and I won't spoil that, but she talks about her career. She talks about a bunch of different current events and things of that nature. So it's like I kind of got familiar with her on that one. She's one of my favorite people to follow on TikTok. So I really, when I was thinking about someone to probably have on the show to probably talk about certain things, and we're gonna talk about the Grammys shortly, but I wanted to bring her on. But welcome, Vida, to the show. Thank you so much for being on.
Okay, thanks, Vince. I have to live up to that intro.
So before we start, I don't know if you want to tell anybody. You don't have to really, I'm sure people when they follow you on TikTok and so forth, or when they follow, or if they follow you already, they probably know, a little bit of background on you because you're not you don't share a bunch of personal information, but you share, enough to kind of let people kind of into your world a little bit. But I don't know if you want to intro yourself or tell anybody, tell the people about what you do and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm Vida. I'm millennial Vida on TikTok. My TikTok content is more like lifestyle. I am in the Air Force Reserve, but that's just my little part-time job, right? But I'm an LA native, and then the Florida tie comes into is because I went to FAMU and Florida State, graduated from Florida State.
That
So
makes sense.
that's
Okay.
where I really started my social media journey was in Florida. So I got a lot of friends in Florida, in Miami especially. So that's where that comes in at. But once I graduated, moved back to LA. Now I'm back in LA.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And once again, like I said, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you being on the show because, like I said, it's like your content is definitely um, somebody that I feel like people would, even if they're not interested in joining the military or the reserves, like they'll definitely find a lot to kind of identify with you on and so forth. So definitely keep going, keep doing your thing. But um, you are here because I was gonna talk to you about the Grammys. I was gonna talk to to also the audience and obviously bring you into the conversation. And I think it's definitely great to have you in this conversation with instead of me just talking about the Grammys to myself because obviously it's like who cares what I think. But the Grammy Awards. So if you missed this year's Grammy Awards, this was probably one of my favorite years so far. Like you know, Jesse Collins Entertainment produces the show each year. Well, I'm not sure when he started producing the show, but he produced the show this year, and or his company produced the show this year. And the show itself was amazing. I love the show. I personally liked how it was put together, and they had to kind of change the script a little bit because of the LA fires and so forth. But they had performances that was crazy. Doshi's performance was crazy. Sabrina Carpenter, a bunch of others. And they had like a segment for best new artist. They had like a melody for best new artist that was dope. So, and before I go on, Vita, what was your favorite performances of the night?
My favorite performance for sure was Doechii. I felt like that was super dope. I mean, I know she won Rap
Mhm.
Album of the Year, but I still feel like a lot of people don't know her and haven't seen her. So for her to
Mhm.
come out and do her thing, that was definitely my favorite for her. For sure.
Awesome, awesome. So with Dochi, when she put out her mixtape, and I think what happened was like I'm not gonna assume what TDE's reasoning was by calling it a mixtape, but I'm not.
Mhm.
And you are you familiar with Dochi's music like before she got signed?
Before she got signed, no.
Okay, so before she got
But
signed,
that
I
song,
wasn't.
okay, wait. What that song with Isaiah Rashad? Where was that in her?
That was I think that was right before she got signed, or she was
Okay, so then
either.
okay, so then
So
it
that
makes
was like a right around the time. So, what I'm not like she's from Tampa, so I was familiar with her like as an artist, like as an independent artist. She was coming up. I remember she was signed to she was basically with a distributor and she was putting music out. And I remember like she had like a lot of videos that was dope and so forth. And right when she got signed, I was obviously familiar with her, with the Isaiah Rashad song and so forth. But when she was coming up, like I knew she had an ability to make rap music, but pop music. Like I felt like
Mhm.
she was like, she had the ability to kind of cross over, right?
Yeah,
So the thing with Dochi, like I feel like it was strategic to give her this kind of mixtape rollout because it was called a mixtape and they kind of I guess they probably was just like okay let's see what the reaction's gonna be and let's call it a
correct.
mixtape instead of calling it her debut album or whatever the case may be because it could have easily been her debut album easily but I think they did it to kind of really get people familiar with her and her sound and
Mhm.
just her as an artist. And it ended up being a situation where I think I'm not sure if they anticipated how big the moment was going to be, but I guess when they realized, okay, how big the moment was, like while she was on tour and so forth, they really kind of leaned into, the award season and stuff like that. And she ended up, winning rap album of the year. So yeah, like you said, so it's dope how she came out. Now, as far as on a pop side, who was your favorite? I'm not sure what kind of pop music do you listen to right now?
So like I like Billie Eilish, right? Her song
Okay.
last
Uh-huh.
year's song of the year. I love that song.
Uh-huh.
Sabrina Carpenter, I did start listening to her. So that's cute. I like that type of little poppy vibe. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty much as far as I go. Like the Chapo Rowan, I didn't really listen to
Yeah, yeah,
her,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Sabrina for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard Sabrina Carpenter's short and sweet album, it's I think it's gonna be called they're gonna call it a classic. It's like a classic pop album. It's short. It's like not, and it's crazy. It's called short and sweet, and she's extremely short. So I think that was the double entendre. So she really like her and her team kind of really did a great like body of work, and I think you'll enjoy it if you actually like those classic pop records from it sounds like a pop record from the mid 2000s or something like that, but obviously now like with it doesn't sound old, it just has like a
Right, right.
it reminds me of just how albums was crafted back then. It really there isn't a song that you can skip on the album. Is definitely great. But yes, you should definitely check it out. Chaperone, I haven't really gotten into her. I found out about her when she broke a record at Lollapalooza, like she had the most people
Ah,
at her set. But yeah, I got familiar with her after that point. But so as far as on that end, so with the people that won, like, so speaking of, obviously we talked about performances and so forth, but speaking of the winners, was there any how should I say it? Was there anything that surprised you with the winners?
I definitely was not expecting a sweep from K
For
Dot.
Not Like
That
Us?
was
Uh-huh.
that was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I felt like with Beyonce with Cowboy Carter, like I feel like after not getting any CMA noms, it was kind of like I didn't know that I would win Country Album of the Year
Mm-hmm.
after not
Mm-hmm.
getting a nom from the CMAs. I thought that was interesting.
Got you.
She
Yeah.
finally got her Album of the Year, so
Yeah, yeah. I think it was obviously well deserved, but I didn't know if and full disclosure, I'm a member of the Recording Academy, but I didn't know which way it would go as far as for the for the award that she won. Oh, it was the biggest award. It was album of the year, right? If I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
Album of the
Yeah,
Year. Yep.
album of the year. Yeah. So but yeah, I didn't know if she'd win because it was stiff competition. So and that's another thing with this year. Like this year, I think it was really up in the air because it was like a lot of stiff competition in a lot of
Mhm.
categories. A lot of categories was like a given. I think one of the categories, which one was it? It was the category that Money Long won. Money Long won Best R&B
Oh, the R&B
Performance.
performance.
Yeah,
Yes.
for Made for Me, the live on BET version. But the thing is that she definitely deserved that award. But the Coco Jones song, Here We Go, I think Here We Go, I think it's called. Uh, that song, I thought that probably had a really good chance to win. I thought Coco Jones was going to win that award, but it's
Hmm.
great to see Money Long. I've known Priscilla, that's her real name. I've known Priscilla for like I wouldn't say known her, but I've known I've been in the studio with her and so forth in the past. She worked with a production team I work with, but yeah, so as far as on that, I'm so happy to see her growth. Ray, are you familiar with Ray?
So I know the song from TikTok.
Okay,
So, but
okay,
that was my first time hearing the whole song, and it's like, oh, that's who sings that song. That was her performing it was the first time I heard the whole
got you,
song.
got you, got you. Yeah, is Ray is somebody that she kind of had like a same kind of transition like Victoria Monet,
Mm,
Priscilla with Money Long, where they were songwriters and became artists. So it's like if you see more of that, it's because the songwriting game has changed since streaming. So streaming, like if you pre-streaming, like if you was a songwriter and you had like a hit on the radio, like you'd be good. But now it's like with streaming, it's a little
mm,
different. So a lot of songwriters are really kind of coming to the forefront and being artists because like instead of not knowing like putting the record together and not knowing if the record's going to ever come out, or uh, kind of like relying on one particular song to kind of potentially like hold you over for a year or two. So yeah, so as far as the songwriting game has changed, so I'm glad to see a lot of talented songwriters coming to the forefront, and so forth. I remember I was at an ASCAP Expo. This was like 2015, I think. I think it was 2015. And Victoria Monet was there. She was talking about herself as a songwriter and so forth. So she was an artist at the time. She was like still putting
Hmm,
she was putting out music here and there, but a lot of these people have been grinding for years, like
that's 10
10
years ago.
years plus before they really get their shine. So I'm really happy they got their shine. Now, question, um there was a tie. I don't know if you heard any of these albums. The one that was a tie was which one was it? It was, yes, it was No Worries, the Anderson Pack and Knowledge project, the Wild Lord project, and Avery Sunshine. I gotta admit, I haven't heard Avery Sunshine's project, but that was a tie. That was in the best progressive R&B
Uh,
album.
okay, okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, so so obviously there's been ties before, but like it's kind of crazy to see that. But so question, what would you like to see? Because I know there was a bunch of different tributes and stuff like that, and they had a lot of things specific for the LA fires. I would have loved to see Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars perform their song. What's the uh, die is it what's the name of the how could I how, die with the smile, die with the smile. That,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you obviously heard the song, but I love
Yeah.
that song. I would have wished they performed that,
So
but
yeah, they
yeah,
had
but
kind of do the California type thing, right?
you
They
said it
did the
again.
California song,
Yes,
right?
they did the California. Yes, they did the California song. Correct. So, question: what would you like to see next year for the Grammy Awards?
Well, I feel like I was happy with there being so much music in the show. Like there was a lot of singing, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
everybody was able to do their songs. So that's really what stuck out to me and what I would like to continue to see is having a lot of music. And it was very black, so I love that.
For
So
sure,
I
for sure.
always want
Okay.
to see.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most definitely, most definitely. So yeah, so as far as on my end, like I think that the show has continued to kind of elevate and kind of get better. And the show itself, and I don't know if you noticed, but the show is on CBS now, but the next year is gonna be the last year it's gonna be on CBS. It's gonna be
Oh, no,
on
I didn't.
eight. It's gonna be on ABC the following year.
Oh,
So ABC, Disney has the new Grammy contract, so
okay.
it's gonna be on. I wonder how that's gonna affect it. One thing I would like to see is it to be more accessible to people. So let me kind of get as far as on what I mean. When the Super Bowl aired recently, the Super Bowl was on Tubi. Well, how did you watch the Super
Mm,
Bowl?
Fox.
On Fox. Okay, you
Oh,
watched on
Fox.
Fox. But
Yeah. Okay.
there was a lot of people that don't have access to rabbit ears or whatever case, or don't have access to cable
Right.
television and
That's
stuff like
cable.
that. They watched
Mhm.
it on Tubi, which I think was hella smart because it allowed it to actually have record numbers to be shown as far as on. So everybody had access to it, no matter what kind of position you're in. If you don't have cable, if you do have cable, if you just have network television, you was able to watch it. But I want to see, because I think that's the thing. Like I think a lot of people that would want to see the Grammys, they would have to
Mhm.
kind of get some kind of like app or something like that, or they'd have to have some kind of cable subscription to see it. So that's what I want to kind of see, because a lot of people don't really even have a TV that has like antenna with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, so I think I want to see it be more accessible to people. That's kind of what I want to see as far as for the next years to come. So, because I think if people had an opportunity to see it, they would, if they had a better way to see it, they would see it. So yeah. So as far as on that end, that's like my thoughts. But do you have anything to add on the Grammys? any other moments that you want to mention?
Um, no, I was just happy to see Beyonce and K Dot get
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah, yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
awards. Yeah.
definitely. 100%, 100%. I think Beyonce had probably like two or three other albums that deserved album of the year, but that's
See,
either here nor there.
I never thought that she got snubbed. I feel like she could have won, but I never thought it was a snub when she didn't win.
Okay, okay,
I'll
that's
be
fair.
honest.
But I think that there was at least 2 years where she should have got it. She should have got it for Lemonade, and she should have got it for Act One. That's my opinion. I think for those two.
Lemonade would probably be the closest to where I would agree with. That
Okay,
would be the
okay,
closest. That would be the biggest gripe.
got you. Okay, and I also want to say, because I don't even think I've ever said this, but I think my favorite album from her is Act One. I think so. I
Mm.
think I have to revisit, but I think personally, my favorite album for her from her, as far as from a sequencing standpoint and just overall like body of work, I think Act One is probably my favorite from her. But what about you? What's your favorite Beyonce album?
So, that's my thing with Beyonce. Okay, so like I feel like there are so many songs, but is there a Beyonce? Okay, the only Beyonce album that I like ran through over and over was Beyonce, self-titled Beyonce.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that definitely
But
was
I would
definitely
always
good.
pick and pull from different albums.
Got
But
you.
yeah, but Lemonade too. Lemonade too. I give Lemonade. I really listen to Lemonade front to back
Okay,
too. Beyonce and So between those two, if I had to
got you.
pick.
Okay, who right now are you listening to on the rap side, like on like street rap? Do you like what are you listening to?
I like Skilla Baby. Would he be
Okay,
street rap? Who
okay,
else? What's his name? Not whatchamacallit. I kind of don't like that I like him, but I do like I do like Boston Richie. Like I don't want to be a fan. I don't
okay,
want to be a fan of his, but I do like his songs. I got a lot of
okay,
Boston
okay.
Richie songs.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay,
Last year it was ESTG, but I have not listened to his new project, so we kind of fell
got
off.
you. Okay, okay, definitely makes sense. Okay, so um, at this point, I want to get into what we're watching. So obviously, we won't be able to. We're not gonna give any spoilers, but I want to talk about two shows that I'm watching right now. Now, first, I'm gonna go into Paradise. Paradise is a show, um, and again, I'm not gonna give any spoilers because to 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 catch everybody else up that probably have seen up to as we're watching is I think there's a new episode tonight because it's Monday. I think it airs on Tuesday. So
Mhm.
as we're recording, I'm recording this on a Monday. So um, there's a new episode on Tuesday, and it's going to be on episode 5. Vida hasn't watched all of episode 1, so she hasn't seen everything. So I'm not gonna give anything away, but I have to say that this show is 100% original. I have never seen a show quite like this one. This is a really great show. Like up until what you saw, I'm sure you were intrigued by it as far as up to
Definitely.
what you saw. But I want to when you actually end up seeing up to when you catch up, I
I'll
want you
probably
to
catch up this week.
when you catch up, I want you to tell me what you think about it because it's a great show, man. It's a great show. So since we're not gonna talk about that one like that, I want to talk to you about um Severance. So you up
Mhm.
to season 2, episode 2.
Yes.
So you've
So
seen
I'm one
episode up.
behind. Yeah.
So you're okay. Yeah, you're actually 2 behind because I think episode
Or
4
it's
is
about
out.
to
4 is
already.
out.
I think it comes out tomorrow. No.
It might be. No, I think no. I think 4 is out.
Oh, no, yeah, I am behind.
So yeah, you're 2 behind. So I'm also not gonna give any spoilers for what happens in 3 or 4, but I love this show. Season one was surprising to me because we still don't know exactly what they're doing in that building.
Right. Still don't know
So
the purpose.
yeah, so Severance, if anybody hasn't tuned in yet, the show is kind of just off the, like, just to give you a simple synopsis, it's about a company that allows their employees to um, sever themselves from their work self. So basically, they don't remember anything that happens at work because they go to work, they wake up right when they get off, and pretty much they have technically two selves because the person that's at work doesn't really know who the person that is on the outside is. So it's kind of a crazy, like, if you haven't watched it, it's on Apple TV Plus. So if you haven't watched it, you got to tell me what your prediction is. There a prediction of what you think they're doing at Lumen?
So Severance is one like so to me that's a show like I have never seen a show like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to predict because what is the purpose of me
Yeah.
saying I'm gonna cut my work self off. I don't want to be involved. And then I'm be outside, but I'm not gonna be at work. But then it's like then what they're doing at work, they're not they playing on the computer, they're not really doing anything. So that part, I just don't why do they need to disconnect to go to work at Lumen when they're
I
not
think
doing
this
anything?
season we're gonna find out more. It's funny because I can't wait. So, and when you catch up,
Yeah,
we
I'm gonna catch up with Severance tonight because I'm
yeah, when you catch up, let me know what you think, because it's like there's a lot there in the 2 episodes that you missed a lot. There's a
I'm
lot
missing a
that
lot because
comes
yeah, they have to
that
get into Helly because she's the granddaughter of the founder, right? Or
correct.
daughter.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
like, right? Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, so it will a lot will be revealed moving forward. So definitely let me know what you think. Is there anything else you're watching right now that you really love?
Um, what else am I watching? I feel like I have not had time to get into my shows because I just finished something on Netflix. What? I was watching something on Netflix. No, I was watching something on Amazon Prime. Harlem. That's what I just finished Harlem. So that's what I watched the whole six
Harlem.
episodes
Okay.
of Harlem. So that's why
Harlem is on season 2.
that season. I feel like that's season three. This is season three
This is
and
season 3. Okay.
final season of Harlem.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. So I you know what? I gotta be honest with you. I have to get back into it because
It's a girl
I
show.
think I watched episode 1 and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back to it. And then
Is this a
I'm
girl
gonna
show?
I was like, let me come back to it. So, but
It's
yeah, if you say it's good, I'll definitely check it out. But
yeah, it's
um,
a really cute show. I like it.
okay, so I'm gonna definitely check it out. I'm gonna definitely check it out. But um, with that, I'd love to have you back on the show again for sure.
Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime.
And we gotta do more content. We gotta probably do a TikTok or something. I don't know, not no dancing, like, obviously, not no
I don't
dancing, but
dance on TikTok.
yeah, exactly. So but yeah, we gotta do something on TikTok or something. But again, like I
Absolutely.
said, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your thoughts on the Grammys and also what you watch. And then how about after the season's over for Severance and Paradise, you come back on the show and then we talk about it.
We do the whole thing. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
because
there's
I
so
really
much
wanna,
happening.
like, and then we'll kind of talk about the entire season. We'll talk about the entire season because that'll give you some time to kind of share your thoughts on it and so forth. Because I think I think this season of Severance is gonna really reveal a lot. They've already revealed so much. So
I hope
I think
so.
it's yeah, I think it's gonna be good. But
Oh, that
again, like I
reminds me
said,
of From. I forgot. From.
Say, say it again.
From. Did you watch From on MGM Plus?
I gotta see that.
Oh,
I
you
have
haven't
to see
watched
it.
that?
What is it about?
It is about people getting stuck in a town and they're trying to figure out how to get back home
Uh-huh.
from where they're
I've
from.
seen posters for it. They've done some good marketing for it because there's a good
Yeah, it's
word of
very
mouth
good. And it's
about it.
like thriller because they're like, they're not, I don't know what the things are called, but there are things that eat people.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. So I gotta get into that. I gotta get into that. I gotta get into that. But
that's a
yeah,
good
like
show.
I said, I really, really appreciate you you coming on and like I said, we're gonna bring you back for the end of Severance and the end of Paradise. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, again, y'all gonna see Vida soon. Make sure y'all follow her. Again, give them your TikTok and your Twitter and all that other
My
stuff.
TikTok is Millennial Vida. My Twitter is You Love Vida, ULOVEVIDA. That's what I'm on the most, sir.
Awesome. Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you for being on the show. Thanks again, and I will see you soon. So the question is streaming fraud about to end? So this guy from Denmark did about $3.5 million, they say, in streaming fraud. And they were able to actually get him. And again, he had his prison sentence increased to 24 months. He also has to pay hefty fines. And the fines were also increased recently as well. There was also another case, I don't know if you remember, of another guy that was recently indicted for streaming fraud. And he made millions as well. And he was able to rake in millions for years and then ended up getting caught. So it looks like not only is streaming fraud being combated, but if you do it in the millions, you're gonna get locked up. So there's a crackdown that's happening. I think also there has been definitely some things that have been done as far as on the streaming side. And Spotify and other streaming companies are definitely taking it seriously. I would expect to see more of cases like this in the future. The more people that get convicted and sentences like this, I think the more you're going to see widespread fraud and happening like really slow down. So it's something that we're going to take a look at. We're going to keep looking at it. We'll keep reporting. If there's any more news on this, I'll definitely make sure I share it. So I want to thank Vida for coming on the show today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We got some brand new videos for you, so make sure you stay after the show if you're watching on YouTube through our playlist on the Valholla channel. With that being said, if you are not subscribed, make sure you do that. And also follow the playlist. If you actually add the playlist to your library, it'll always stay in your library. You can always just hit playlist and you can always come back to it. We update it ever so often. So we try to do an episode every week and a half ish. So definitely 3 new episodes a month. But yeah, so with that being said, I really thank you for watching, and I'll check y'all next week. Peace.